Welcome back to Kasa
Hello.
Chronicles. Hello, Kiafa. How are you today?
I am doing great. How are you today?
I'm fine, thank you.
That's
Happy
good.
because it's the weekend.
I know, yeah, because it's Friday. I had to remember that. I was like, okay, it's actually Friday. I was like, it's Friday already? Like, it was quick.
It was quick, and on Sunday it's going to be already October, so this year is going like super fast.
Yes, it is. It's going by super, super fast. And I'm just like, wow. My birthday's in December. So I'm like, when I start feeling like my birthday coming, I'm just like, wow, that went by so fast. Because I remember when I was little, I used to, my birthday was so slow. Like, everybody else has their birthdays. But now I'm just like, no, it comes quick.
Yeah, when we were kids, we have to wait for the whole year for celebrating our birthdays. But now it's like, no, not another one, please.
Exactly.
Slow down. But yes, it's crazy. How was your week? I know that you are a survivor now from a violinist spider.
Yeah, so yeah, you guys. So, oh, by the way, you guys, my name is Kiafa. I always forget to introduce myself, but
I lost you. I lost you. Hello, hello. Mm, seems like we're having some interference. Do you hear me? Hello.
I'm here. You hear me?
Mm-mm. No, it seems like it's happening the same thing that it was happening the other day. A ver, let me try something. I know. No, not working. If we try again. Okay, sorry. This is one of the problems you have when you are going live. So I am waiting for Key to join again. Okay, we're going to try in a different link. Oh no. Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yes, much better.
I'm so sorry. I think it's because it's a little storm here. So I think the lights are kind of flashing on and off with the Wi-Fi.
Oh my god. Here's also a little bit cloudy. But yeah, I can hear you well now.
Okay. Okay. Great.
Mhm. So
Let's.
you were telling us about your experience with the violinist spider.
Oh yes. So oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, you guys. So last weekend I was coming home and I realized that I had lost my keys to get into my apartment. And so I had to wait for a locksmith. So I sat in this chair that's like kind of outside of my apartment, and I live up like 3 flights of stairs. So I'm just sitting in the chair waiting, up like 3 flights of stairs. And I noticed that a girl was coming out of her apartment, and she kept walking by me. She kept going up and down the stairs. And I spoke to her the first time because she was taking out her trash. And then after that, she walked back by like four more times, just up and down the stairs. And I thought it was kind of odd. I was on my phone, you know. So the locksmith finally came. And when the locksmith came and I took him to my apartment door, as he was trying to get in, the girl came up to me and she was like, hey, I just wanted to let you know to be careful because the chair that you were sitting in is normally covered in little red spiders. And I was like, what? Like, little red spiders? What are you talking about? So she was like, yeah, it's covered. Because I noticed when I was sitting in the chair, I was talking to my friend. And as I was on the phone with her, I was like, I noticed something on my arm. And I'm like, there's something on my arm. I was FaceTiming her. So I showed it to her. And she was like, oh, we're not going to think the worst. You know, let's just think it's just something small, right? So when the girl said that to me, I was like, oh my gosh, is that what this is on my arm? So I showed it to her. And she was like, yeah. I was like, oh my God, I started freaking out. I was like, oh my God, I got bit by a spider. And so I was like, let me look up this spider. So I looked it up and it was considered like a poisonous spider. And so I was just like, I was freaking out. I was freaking out and I was like, what am I gonna do? So I'm like, I'm trying to stay calm so I can see if I have any of the symptoms, right? So I ended up realizing that I was getting like one of some of the main symptom I was getting was the stomach cramping because that was one of the like symptoms, and my stomach just started cramping really, really bad. So thankfully, I had some herbs that I had gotten from San Benito Market for like nerves and for like stomach and stuff like that. So I put it in a tea and I drank my tea. You know, I drank like 2 cups and it got a little bit better. But I was so scared, Karina. I was like, what is going on? Oh my God. It was scary. Like I thankfully I know how to check my pulse. So I was keeping a check on my pulse, on my heart rate to make sure that my heart rate was good. But like I was so scared. I was so scared. I thought I was about to die. And everybody I was telling, like I told you, I was like, Karina, what did I say to you?
I got bit while waiting, and I was like, it looks like spider bite.
Yeah, and I was like, oh my God, like I was like, I don't want to bother Karina with this because I knew you were busy, but I was like, in case I have to like go to the doctor or something, I need to let somebody know. And so, y'all, Karina was so nice. Everybody, she gave me the information. She was like, "Well, if you have to call 911, say this." And she said in Spanish, and like she kept checking on me to make sure I was okay. And I honestly was just like laying down, like I don't know if I'm okay. Like am I really okay or am I not? You know, so I was like, okay, the main important thing was I knew within like 24 hours, I had to watch it because the biggest, like it could grow like really big. I was looking at the pictures on Google, which is not good to do because Google shows you the worst case scenario, you know, and I'm just like, oh shit. It's like,
You were already trying to cut off your arm.
oh my gosh. So yeah, y'all, that's it's been an interesting week. Yeah. So then, but I'm okay. As you can see, I'm good. I'm okay. I didn't nothing major. Like I woke up the next day and I was still having the major stomach cramps was the main thing. And then like the bite like would start to bother me a little bit, but it didn't get any worse. So I'm good.
So even if this woman looks like an angel, she's not streaming from heaven. She's alive. She's on
That-
earth.
I may be Spider Woman though, so keep that in mind.
That would be amazing. Probably you can um, you don't have to wait for an Uber driver or anything. Then you can
Exactly.
swing. Yeah, that would be amazing.
Swing. Exactly. So, but yeah, how was your week?
It was fine. We have a lot of work here, some new listings. Congratulations as well from your for your brand new listing.
Yay! I'm so excited.
If you're looking for a property next to the beach, like literally 3 blocks away from the beach, and
Yes.
that's not and you don't want to break the bank, then you have to contact Kia for right now because she has a perfect listing for you.
Yes,
So
I
congratulations! It's her first listing in Mexico. We have to
Yay!
celebrate.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited, y'all. My first listing in Mexico. I'm just I'm super excited about it. And the house is so nice and it's right next to the beach. So yeah, if you're interested in buying a home that's right next to the beach, call me because I don't think it'll be on the market for long. I was asking around to some of my other friends about it, and they were like, "Oh, that's a great price for that home, like right next to the beach." So they were like, they think it will sell quickly. So yeah, you guys check it out. It's on my YouTube channel, just at Kiafa. So you can go on there and watch a little video that I made. So
We leave the link in the description of this episode so you can find it and see the video, the photos, the information, and you can put an offer on it before it's too late.
yes, absolutely. So yay, I'm so excited, and congratulations to you as well because you also posted a listing as well. So I mean, that's a good thing. Hopefully, that one will sell as well in Playa. So it's beautiful. That was gorgeous.
That one is an interesting property. It's an 12 profitable units. It's 11 studio type and one bedroom apartments. They are almost all of them rented, so it's a good money maker. And there's also a two-bedroom house in it where the current owners are where used to live actually. So they would be living in that property and they would manage the small hotel as well.
Okay.
So very interesting property. It's about 11 million pesos. I'm a little lost in the translate in the conversion to US dollars, but it's $11 11 million pesos. So yes, you can also find the information in our website, thehousebuy.mx, and you can find all of our listings if
Yeah.
you're interested. And if there's something you would like, but you cannot find it in our website, then you can always ask us because since we are buyers representatives, mostly we have access to a vast inventory in the whole peninsula. So if you want it, you will get it through us.
Yes, absolutely. So let us know, you guys. We have a lot of stuff in store. We have a lot of inventory. So just give us a call.
Exactly. So what are we talking about today, Ki?
So yeah, today we're going to talk a little bit about what to look for when you're renting a property. Yay!
Yay!
Um, yes, it is very different. I noticed here from like the U.S. and it may be different in other countries as well. So for those of you who are looking to move to Mexico, there are a few things that we just kind of want to go over so that you would know. These are the things that you need to look for when you are renting in Mexico. And in Merida, I make sure that I do this for all of my clients because a lot of times they're not familiar about the process of what to look for here. So I'll start with one of the things that's very important is to make sure that the windows are nice and secure. It was so funny because I had one of my clients who um, actually, and a lot of you guys know her. Her name is Kitty. She goes by Bad Luck Kitty on YouTube, and she's actually posted me on her channel quite a few times. But there was one home that we were looking at, and it was crazy because in the middle of us looking in the home, it started storming. Karina, I'm talking like just lightning, thundering. I'm talking loud thunder that was shaking, kind of shook the ground. And it was pouring down rain in the middle of us showing the home and the windows were not secure. So yeah, so the windows were not secure, and next thing you know, like we were standing next to a window, and just the rain just started coming in on us through like the sides of the window. It wasn't like sealed properly. So we all like, and it was happening through multiple windows. So we just all went around and like closed the windows or whatever. So that's something that I think is very important. Just make sure that the windows are secure. And speaking of windows, make sure if you don't like mosquitoes, make sure that you have a mosquito net or what we would call in the U.S. a screen for your window or a screen for your doors to keep out mosquitoes. A lot of times in the U.S. with the windows, for the most part, they come with the screen, but here, not necessarily. Some do and some don't. So that's definitely something you want to look for. My last clients, they're actually getting a screen, a whole like screen, I don't know, cabana type thing to go around their whole entire pool because that's just how much they want to keep out the mosquitoes. Yeah. So they'll literally be walking into like a screen, I don't know, cabana type thing, which will be around their whole pool because there's their pool and then like a few feet out there's like a little pond, so it attracts a lot of mosquitoes in their backyard. So that's something you want to look out for as well. Another thing that you want to look for is the water pressure because sometimes what happens is the water pressure may be good in the home, but can you still hear me, Karina?
I can hear you well.
Okay. So it's because it's pouring down rain here. Speaking of rain, but yeah, it's pouring. So
Mosquitoes.
the water pressure, you need to ask about that because some locations there it's good, some it's not. But even in ones that are good, when you go to turn on the faucet, it may just come out slowly, and you may say, "Oh no, that's a deal breaker," and you may want to leave. But the thing is, you need to ask because sometimes they'll have the water off, or sometimes it's just a matter of they have a pressurizer and they just have to go and use the pressurizer in order to increase the pressure of the water. So just make sure that you ask about that. And you'll want to check the pressure of the water, like in the kitchen and in the bathrooms, in the shower. We always turn the showers on. We always turn the waters on in the sink just to make sure that it has good water pressure. And if it doesn't, it's normally not a problem for them to fix it. They normally will just go ahead and they'll go ahead and just let you know, oh, we're gonna get a water pressure. Or we have a water pressure, or the water's just off because nobody's been living in the home for a while. So that's something you want to make sure you check. Another thing you want to check is hot water. So make sure you check that the hot water is working. Um, in the bathroom, yes, and also in the kitchen. I did also have a client who we checked the hot water in all of the bathrooms, and the only place that we did not check it was in the kitchen. And after she signed the lease and moved into the home, is when we realized there was no hot water in the kitchen, and she wanted hot water in her kitchen. So, if hot water in your kitchen is important to you, you want to make sure you check it in the kitchen because you'll do like we did and just assume, oh, it's hot water in every bathroom, so there'll be hot water in the kitchen. But that's not necessarily like the case here. You may still not have it in the kitchen, so make sure that you check that out. Let's see. Another thing you want to check, especially if you are moving to Merida, you want to make sure that you check air conditioners because it is very hot here. It gets up like I remember when I first moved here, it was like got up to 108 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm not sure what that is in Celsius, but I just know it's
Like
hot.
the,
Yeah, it's okay. So it's extremely hot here. So you want to check for air conditioners. The reason why I say that is because here, not every room is necessarily going to have air conditioners. Oh, and by the way, if you live in the States, it's different here in Mexico. They don't have what we call central air. That's what we use in the States. They don't have that. They have air conditioners that are in every room. And I'm not talking about the air conditioners that we're used to back in like the 90s that you would sit in a window. It's not like that either. These are very modern air conditioners that are like mounted to a wall. So they're very quiet. You don't even know that they're there, but you want to make sure that you have those in every room if that's what you would prefer. Some people don't need it in every room, just the bedrooms. And so I noticed that a lot of the homes won't have air conditioners in like the living room area, but they will have it in the bedroom areas. So you have to check for that. That's something that most of my clients, I would have to say, that's the number one thing that clients don't do is check for the air conditioners. And I'm just like, and I always catch it. And I'm like, okay, just make sure you notice that there's no air conditioner here in the living room. Is that okay with you? So sometimes they'll say, yeah, it's fine because it's not facing, where the sun is actually going to be beaming in. So, and they're like, it's totally okay because they don't have fans going and that's enough for them. So a fan may just be enough for you. But if it is important, then sometimes that's something we can negotiate, or sometimes the landlord will tell you, it's fine for you to go ahead and install the air conditioner yourself. But just make sure that you at least check for that. And also, don't just look at the air conditioner and say, oh, there's an air conditioner in here because you also want to make sure it works. I had one client, she was about to move into a home, and we saw the air conditioners. Thankfully, I said, may I please see that the air conditioner is working because they could not find the remote for the air conditioner. And yeah, so that's another thing for people who live in the States. I actually have mine right here. Let me grab it. You'll have actually a remote for your air conditioner. So this is what sort of what it'll look like. Okay. And they couldn't find the remote. Okay, exactly. See, we keep these handy, we keep these.
You keep it like close to you, like it's my.
Yeah, you keep it. Exactly. Listen, because these are some great air conditioners, I'm telling you, and I have mine right here. It's like right above me, so I can turn it on and off because they get cold pretty quick. So yes, Gigi, air conditioners are a must. Absolutely. We love Gigi. She supports us every week she's on here. So thank you for supporting us, Gigi. And yeah, so
But
yeah, so
he-
huh?
Gigi is a he.
I didn't hear you.
Gigi is a he.
Oh, okay. She's
It's a
a
very
he.
guy.
Oh, okay. See, I didn't know that. Yes, I love her so much. So, yeah. So just make sure that you check for the air conditioner. They didn't find the remote because it wasn't in the house. So, the landlord actually had it in her house. So, so then we went and got the remote control, and then we went to use it, and it didn't work because it needed new batteries. So just make sure that you check the air conditioner because you will be mad if you move in and it's in the 90s, it's 90 something degrees outside or whatever, and your air conditioner is not working. Okay, the next thing you want to check, and which I think most people are used to checking it, are the toilets. You want to make sure that the toilets actually flush. Um, that's very important. You just want to make sure it works. That's it. That's the only thing I have to say about that.
This is important because here in the peninsula, the water is like very heavy. There's a high concentration in minerals, so every, I don't know, every like 2 or 3 months, everything gets stuck with calcium. So we have to keep it clean, and we have to, I don't know, like rinse it continuously with vinegar. That's the
Mhm.
easiest and cheapest way, and the less harmful for the installation. But yeah, that's important because sometimes when the house has been empty or vacant for a long time, all the water installations can be stocked with calcium. So you have to check them before moving in. And the owner should know that probably they will have to give it some maintenance before delivering the house, but that's important. And don't be scared if something is not working like perfectly. It's kind of normal to get all the installations stuck with calcium, but it's just because of the water. You're literally using water from a cenote, so that's why it gets stuck. But yes, you have to check it before moving in, definitely. All, or you can have like a lot of leaks, like the toilet not sealing properly, then there's going to be like water losses constantly, and then you're going to see it in your water bill. It's not nice. It's not a nice surprise.
Oh wow! Thank you, Karina, for that. That's important. Yes, thank you so much for that information. Um, let's see. Oh, another thing you want to check for if this is important to you. Some people it's not so important, but a vent over your stove. In the U.S., probably everywhere you move has a vent over the stove. But here, not every home is going to have a vent. It's probably about 50-50 that I see. So if that's something that you are interested in, that's something that sometimes it can be negotiated. But I don't see that everybody is even really big on the vent. It's just a few people here and there. So oh yeah, you want to check the stove and make sure it works as well. Some of the stoves are gas, so you'll want to ask about the gas. How does it work? Where is the gas tank? Let them show you how to use the stove as well, especially if it's gas, because it's not like in the states. A lot of times, I notice here that they have to use you actually use the lighter to light the stove for it to work. So yeah, and then the last thing I have on here that I can think of is check the lights as well. So you want to check the lights, make sure that they're working, and a lot of times that they are working, but just sometimes they just may not have like a light bulb inside of it. So you'll just ask them if they'll please insert the light bulbs for you before you move in. So those are just a few things that I had, and yeah. So just make sure that you are looking out for all of these things. I couldn't think of anything else at the moment. So
Also, you have to consider the internet connection, especially in places
mhm.
where the growth is fast, like in north of Merida, for example, or where I live in Playa del Carmen, Tulum, or all those areas that are constantly growing. the private infrastructure goes much faster than the infrastructure itself. So sometimes you don't have the access for a fiber optic connection, and you have
Right.
to use this satellite internet connection. And if you need a super fast connection, I have to tell you that that's not going to happen. You will have to conform with a 5 megabits per second, megabits, not megabytes, which is pretty slow. So that's something you have to ask before signing, or not even signing, before giving any money, or probably before scheduling a showing. If there's a fast internet connection, in case it's something mandatory for you. Also, if you need, especially if you're an expat, or living from, or coming here from another country, if you are going to be needing, like a, how do you call it, the telephone at home,
A home phone.
home phone. So if you're going to need that, that's also important, because again, if the development is pretty new, probably you will not have access to that service, and you will have to wait for about a year, depending on how old the development is. So those are issues that you may face when trying to move in place. So just keep in mind that the newer the place is, probably the less infrastructure there's going to be. Of course, you can always access to satellite connections, but just be super aware about that connection being not as fast as it should be. You will have to have a lot of patience, because also when it's raining, or when we have a thunderstorm, things like that, the connection is not going to be like the best. But I mean, it is what it is. It's like compensating other situations like security or whatever, no? And also another thing you maybe want to check is, these iron bars on the windows. I personally don't like them, and I've never had them at home. But if you're not living in a gated community, probably you will feel more safe if you're seeing all the neighbors having these bars on the windows, or even sometimes on the doors, and the house you're going to rent is not having them. Then probably you should ask for them, because if the neighbors have them, it's for a reason. Not that things happen in Merida, but it's better to be safe than sorry, no? And
Mhm.
what else? What else? Yes. You were talking about the hot water. It's very, very common in Merida not to have the water heater installed, especially because the newer homes are sold. It's only the house. I mean, there's not even a closet, there's no kitchen, there's no appliances, there's nothing. The developers don't deliver the properties, not even without a water heater. So if you are liking a house, you have to ask if there's a water heater, because sometimes the owners may have forgotten about that, or they don't want to install it, especially because in Merida the average temperature is around 80 or 90 Fahrenheit. So most of people don't use the water heater. But for example, I or even when I have been living in the peninsula for close to 30 years, I always love to take a shower with hot water. So I would like to have a water heater. So those are important things. And also, this is a matter of security, and also it's super important. Most of people leave it neglected most of the time. The gas tank. There's a lot of explosions happening because of a lack of maintenance of the butane tank. I mean, it's not like something that's super common that it happens twice a week or something like that. But in the past years, I can remember at least about 4 or 5 explosions with fatal victims. So it's
What?
very important. Yeah, it's crazy, and it's because we don't think about it. Sometimes if you don't see the problem, you're not aware of the problem, and that's what's happening with the gas tanks. They're mostly on the rooftop.
Yeah, I
So
know.
huh?
Yeah, I noticed. I noticed that down the
There's
roof.
also another tank. We call it cylinder, which is a mobile tank, and the gas provider is going to come to your home, pick it up, refill it, and then bring it back to your home.
Mhm.
They say those are the most dangerous. So it doesn't matter which tank you have. Just be super aware of the maintenance, and if the owner doesn't want to provide the maintenance, then do it yourself, because in the end, it's you and your family, the ones who are going to be living in the house, and the ones that could be possible victims if this tank explodes. So these tanks have I don't know how to call it, a util life, a life for about 10 years.
Okay, our lifespan is about 10 years on them. Okay, okay, gotcha. Yeah.
The maintenance should be provided every 1.5 years, something like that. So before moving in the house, if you already know that there's a stationary tank in the roof, ask the owner when was the last revision of maintenance that was given to that tank. It's all about prevention. I mean, all those fatal and tragic accidents can be prevented just with maintenance. So ask, don't hesitate to all these things, because I mean, gas is a major thing. It's not a joke. We would say in Spanish, they are not enchiladas, no. So we
Mhm.
have to take care of that. And
Right, right. Yeah, and just to add on to that, also, here there are not any carbon monoxide detectors here inside of the homes. In the U.S., they are in pretty much every home for the most part, but here there are not any. I actually forgot to order mine when I first moved here, but I already ordered it, and it should be here within the next couple of days. So I do advise everyone to order those as well.
I think you can get them in Amazon or something like that,
Yeah.
no.
Amazon has them.
Yes, they can save lives. I mean, it may sound like an extra expense, but it's just like a life insurance. I mean, you get it expecting not to use it. So
Right.
if you have
Exactly.
it, then it's good because it saves the life of you and your family. So
Facts. It-
and also the spiders. You have to take care of the spiders.
Listen, the spiders can go. Okay.
Well, that leads us to another situation. I was this week I was sharing with my neighbors like a short infography about the vipers and snakes in this region. We only in the peninsula have five venomous, I mean little spiders, the spiders, snakes,
Thanks. Yeah.
but most of them are not, and they are good plague controllers. They're good for the environment. So just I'm going to share it with you so you can share it as well with you, with people you know, so they don't feel scared, because that's very common. We have snake encounters very often, so you don't need to kill them unless you
Right.
recognize them as poisonous. But most
Listen,
of them are not, and they're going to help keep the rodents away, even cockroaches, etc. So it's a matter of getting used to these friends.
oh my goodness. Like, I mean, I'm just now getting used to the lizards, okay, and the geckos. I'm just now getting used to that. So snakes, oh, I don't know. I don't know if I could ever get used to that. But did you hear about the jaguar that got loose here like a couple of weeks ago in Las Americas? Yes, there was a
No, I didn't.
jaguar loose, like just walking in Merida not too long ago. Yes, I was like, what? No, I'm glad I didn't go out of the house that day, but yeah, so just know you may have some encounters if you do move here. So I'm getting kind of used to the is it the geckos or whatever that come in through the air conditioners.
Yeah, the ones that.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Because I remember we were showing the house. I think I don't remember which day it was. We were showing the house and one of them was in there. You were like, leave those alone. You was like, they are nice. Leave them alone. Yeah, you're like, they eat the bugs. So I'm just like, oh my gosh. But so I've seen them, like they'll come in through the air conditioning. It will be just like one that'll come in or whatever. And I'm just like, okay, I'm getting used to those now. But then it's just like they leave. They turn right back around and leave out. They don't stay long. So but they'll be like on the ceiling or like around the ceiling on the top of the walls. But
They eat mosquitoes, like a lot of mosquitoes, so it's good if you leave them inside.
yeah, so I have another my last client I helped. They were like, we're not doing that at all. So they were like, they will be leaving the home. They were gonna make them leave. So I was like, hey, you gotta do what you gotta do because a lot of people from the states they freak out. We freak out when we see lizards, snakes normally have to die. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Like, yeah, they snakes are dying. I'm just leave it at that. But you know, oh yeah, so we were going to talk about one other thing, unless you had something else to add to the list.
Not nothing so far. I mean, just the it's a matter of common sense, but sometimes uh, we take it for granted, and it's like when you leave home and you don't remember if you turn the stove off or not. So my advice would be to make a list. Even if it sounds like super obvious, remember that this is a different country with different uses, and especially in Yucatan they have like a lot of different habits. So make a list of what you need for living comfortably in your home. Like, start from the electricity, ACs, stove, everything you need for living. So you don't forget to check every box when you're doing the first walkthrough, and also when you are receiving the property for moving in, when you already signed the leasing agreement. Don't forget to have an inventory, a written, and if possible, a graphic inventory of all the appliances that are in the house, because in the end that's something that you're going to be using, and they can get like with some, they can get some damage, and all that needs to be, like separated, if it was because of the age or because of a bad use. So that would be my advice for the things you have to check in a house before moving in for
Okay,
living.
absolutely. Yes. So I hope you guys learned a little bit from that. And I think the last thing we want to just go over briefly were the schools. Did you want to go over that briefly?
Yeah. Well, some of your clients were asking about schools, about education, about public schools versus private schools. So yeah, this is a topic we must consider when relocating, especially when we have kids in school years. Public school here in Mexico, I mean, education is a right for everyone. So if you come with your kids, I don't know the process, but I am pretty sure that you will be um, able to enroll your kids in the public school. But you have to consider that they are not bilingual. The curriculum does include English, but like twice a week, something like that, like 2 hours a week. And of course, it's a super, super low level of English. So if you want your kids to learn Spanish in, like in a turbo mode, for sure that's the way, because they're going to be fully immersed in that. And I think in a matter of 3 weeks, they will be speaking Spanish fluently. But the rest of the education in the public school is going to be very efficient. The school time is also very short. I think they go like from 8 to 12 or something like that, like 4 hours. It's not that I want to keep the kids in school the whole day, but I think 4 hours a day can be like super short time. Um, and on the other hand, we have the private schools. Private schools, most of them have different curriculums that the official one. Of course, they follow the official curriculum, but they add extra signatures for the kids. There are schools that are bilingual. There are schools that have English an hour per day, 2 hours a day, something like that, with different levels of English. Of course, I understand that if you're moving here and you're an English speaker, you don't really care about it teaching English to the kids. But I mean, that's more or less how the education works. Also, some schools have a third language, um, mostly French. What else? What else? They have like extra activities after school, like sports, like more professional. Not, I wouldn't say professional, but more dedicated sports besides the ones that are being taught in the school time. And usual times, school times in private schools is from like 7 to 2, something like that. Of course, depending on the educational level your kids are going to be. Of course, the small ones, the toddlers, are starting like at 8 or 9. I mean, it's been a while since my kids were in kindergarten, but yes, I remember they were like from 8 or something like that. And you can find all levels of education in Merida and also here in Quintana Roo, no? From kindergarten to university, of course, postgraduated and masters. I don't know if you can find PhDs or something like that, but at least university you can find. So kids for every age can find a good school. There's like a lot of options. I think educational level is much better in Merida than it is here in Playa. Here in Playa, schools are super expensive, and it's not like the best education in the country. But it's what there is. I mean, it's what it is. So in Merida, you can also find a lot of different educational currents. I don't know if that's correct, like these Waldorf systems, Montessori, or all these systems that go beyond the traditional teaching system, which is very appreciated, especially by foreigners or by digital nomads who are going to be here for a certain period of time, but they don't know how long they're going to stay here. So they want a system that's compatible with systems all around the world. There's also this new, I wouldn't say, I guess we call it a schema of education, which is called international schools. So far, I know about one in Merida, which is very close to Cholul. Actually, it's in Cholul. Uh, so that seems to be a very very big school. I have no references, but there's a lot of options for your kids to keep on attending school. And also here in the Riviera Maya, especially more to Tulum, you can find a lot of parents that are doing homeschool. I would never do that. But there's
Yeah.
a lot of people that's doing homeschooling, and they put the kids together in something called bubbles, something like that. Like they
Okay.
hire a particular teacher, and they have, like, I don't know, they are 4 5 families, and they put all the kids together, and they hire this particular teacher, and this teacher is teaching the things they have to learn at school. So there's a lot of options from everyone. But yes, from my experience, what I would recommend is to put your kids in a private school.
Yeah, because you said the private schools, they speak, did you say they speak English, more English in the private schools?
Yes, yes. Of course, there's more hours in English a week than in a public school. Like I said, in a public school, it's going to be like 2 hours a week in English, and probably they're going to be always teaching the verb to be, like every year.
Yeah. And then another thing that was important too, like in the U.S., all public schools are not equal. So, like for example, the curriculums and the level of learning is not the same. So, if you have like a disadvantaged community, can you hear me?
I do hear you, but now you're gone. Your screen is.
Okay. Somebody tried to call me. I'm so sorry, but you can still hear me, so I guess I'll keep going.
Yeah, yeah,
um,
continue.
yeah. So the disadvantaged communities, or the communities who are poorer than other communities, the educational levels there can be not as good as someone in a middle class community or in an upper class community. So, um, a lot of the schools' funds are based off of what they're given by the state, and the state um, divides that money up, for each county. So that's what the level of education depends on. So you may have, for example, a school that has books, and then you may have another school who's in more of a rural or disadvantaged neighborhood, and they may not have books. They may have to write down. They may have like just a few books, and they just may have to write down and take a lot of notes out of that one or those few books. So the teachers are not going to be as great, maybe, but schools are not going to be as great in one county as it will be in another county. So that's why when you told me, that's why I asked you, are all public schools, the same as far as the level of education? And then you were saying, I think it was you. I asked you, and I asked another friend too. They were saying it's going to be pretty much the same with all public schools as far as the educational level, right?
Yes and no. I mean, here in Mexico, the education is a universal right, so everybody has access to education. It shouldn't be like diversify according to a socioeconomic economical class. But yes, it is known of certain areas having a better public education quality. Also, they use the same books. Actually, these books were very controversial because they are being like more progressist now. I mean, they have renewed the mindset. So yes, the whole country from Baja California to Chiapas should have the same curriculum in public schools. Private schools have a little more freedom for the curriculum, but of course they have to follow certain criteria according to the official curriculum. They can add extra signatures, but they cannot take off the official signatures. There are some schools like the Waldorf or the Montessori that are not like recognized, officially recognized, that are unschooled, and by the age of 12 the kids make an exam, an official government exam, and then they get their certificate. But this is again private. Regarding to public schools, all should have the same level. Of course, there's a lot of social inequity in Mexico, and don't make me start with this.
Uh oh.
Eh,
Listen, that's a whole nother conversation right there.
yes, 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 let's keep on the track. So yeah, it makes like a lot of sense what you're saying. It's probably going to be the same, not exactly to areas in the same country, but in states. For example, the poorest states in Mexico are Chiapas and Oaxaca. So of course we cannot expect the education level in those states, which are the most poor in the country, have the same educational level than they have in Mexico City or in Monterrey, for example. No, but theoretically they should have all the same curriculum and the same education level.
Gotcha.
Also, another thing you have to consider if you're thinking about putting your kids in a public school is that sometimes the infrastructure is very, very bad. Sometimes the bathrooms are not working. Sometimes there are not even bathrooms. Of course, you cannot expect them to have AC. Sometimes there's not even electricity or water, especially after the pandemic. It was a major crisis about the public schools because since they were closed, there was people, taking the copper wires. They were robbing them. I don't know if that's correct, but they
Yeah.
were having a lot of problems in infrastructure. So the kids were the most affected ones.
Oh man.
Yeah,
Wow. Yeah. So that's really good information to know. That's really good to know. Because a lot of people are asking about schools here. They want to know the difference between the public and the private schools. So I'm kind of glad we went over that for everyone.
yeah, definitely. I'd go for a private schools. There's something for almost every budget.
Gotcha. Okay. Awesome. That's good to know. So I think that might have been it for us today.
I think so. I hope people is finding this information useful, and they can start making a list before moving in, and they can find all the small defects in their home, so they can be solved before moving. But I mean, there's always going to be something.
Yeah.
We know
Exactly.
that.
Exactly. So yeah, you guys. So you know where to find us. We are here every week, typically on Thursdays. This was an exception. So yeah. So we will be here every week. I am Quarters by Kiafa on Facebook, on Instagram, and on TikTok. And I'm Kiafa here on YouTube. And you can find Miss Karina here on House by Mexico on all platforms. So if you need us, just feel free to, you can comment actually below this YouTube channel, or you can send us messages on any of those platforms. Also, check out houseby.mexico. There's a lot of good information on there. Karina has done a great job of just talking about everything and anything, all the ins and outs of buying a home and the process and renting and all kind of stuff on there. So I just love House by Mexico. I've gone in there and just went through some of the things myself. So some of the blogs and everything. So yeah, that's how we can be reached. And yeah, that's, yes,
So
ma'am.
that we are easily found. So thank you for being here. Gigi, again, thank you for always being here, and thank you to all the people that has been on and off. I hope next time you stay the whole video. And
Me too. Me too.
so
Me-
thank you, and we'll see each other next week.
yes, ma'am. I will see you guys next week, and I hope you all have a good weekend. You too, Corinne.
Oh, stay away from spiders.
Oh yeah, most definitely. I will. Bye, Gigi. Thank you.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Yo, y fuera.